Do you ever want to dabble maybe in some of the darker topics when it comes to hip hop and when it comes to music, when it comes to like mental health? Like because your music is
Right.
very upbeat, very
Right.
fun.
I feel like
like do you ever feel like addressing some of those things on the mic?
at this time, I wouldn't say that I want to like really address like
Yeah.
the two
Okay.
together
Yeah.
because I actually just really enjoy what I'm doing. You know,
So you keep them separate.
Yeah, I keep them
Beautiful,
separate,
beautiful.
right?
I
It's
think
just kind
that's
of like, you
great.
know
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
man, I'm already doing so much over here. Let me
Yeah.
just go over here and just express
Yeah, yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Yes.
It's
So
like
not-
a
Yes.
Right.
separation mentally
I love
too
that.
of the two
I love
different
that. I
worlds.
love
yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. It's not like a, you know, it's not like a project where I'm like intentionally trying to create something where the two
Right.
connects, right? It's kind of
Okay.
like for me, like as a creative, it's kind of like, yo, it has to flow.
Yeah.
Like I really have to, like now, I really have to just to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
what I do over here, it's like a whole different
this
side
is
of me.
work.
Yeah.
This
They're
is my
different
creative
worlds,
Well,
outlet.
it's work, but in a way, it's like it's a whole. It's also a different side of me, right?
Yeah.
So it's a different side of me. But over
Beautiful.
here, it's like, hey, this is also who I am as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
right now at the moment, I just don't see the need to really connect
to
to.
cross- yeah, yeah,
That's
to
it.
cross
That's
the
all
two.
that is.
Wow.
Maybe in the
Wow.
future.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Right?
I think
Maybe
that's
in the
awesome.
That's
future.
awesome
You know what I'm
because
saying?
sometimes like your life will the path will take you there and maybe
Yeah.
it is, but it'll be at least organic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It has to be organic.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be
Organic.
like I'm gonna sit in the studio one day. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna force myself to
Yeah.
write a very serious song, even though I'm okay. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like you know, I'm you
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it
You're gonna
don't
do
work
what's
like
honest
that.
to you, yeah.
Yeah, at least to me, it don't work like that, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know what, man? Let me just write a very serious song, even though I'm just like I'm in party mode right now.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
the struggle right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no, for sure. I
Yeah.
don't think that would be a good song anyway.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't
I
be real.
think that's awesome
That wouldn't
because
be
like
real.
Yeah.
definitely like in the professional field, I've always struggled with who I am and then who I like have to be, and so it's
Right.
always like
Yeah.
intertwined, and I've always like battled.
It's
like
hard
that's
though
like an
because
internal
parts of like being an adult sometimes does ask that you do have to be a little bit a certain way. Like
Yeah.
like when I was
Oh, yeah.
firefighting, like yo, I didn't ask to be the first Hmong firefighter. First of all, in St. Paul, in St. Paul.
Are you though?
He
I
is.
was.
His first St. Paul
No, in St.
firefighter.
Paul.
Yeah.
No, let's just
you
say St.
would-
Paul because
yo,
there's been a lot in
he's-
other places.
That's
Okay.
big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
through
but
some
but
things.
but all I'm saying is I didn't ask to be the first Hmong firefighter in St. Paul.
Right.
I didn't ask to be on the Pioneer Press, Star Tribune. Like I didn't ask.
Yo,
for those
stop it!
things. No, I'm
Stop
not.
it!
No,
Oh
bro.
my God, what are you doing?
I'm getting to
Yo,
it.
all right, we get it. We get
No,
it.
let's go talk
He's
to
on a
him.
calendar.
Come on.
He's on a calendar with his shirt off. We
Are you
get it.
serious?
Yo, he's on the fireman's calendar with his shirt. Yo, we
No,
get
but-
it. You're
no,
killing
Okay.
it. All right.
Okay, but
go.
no, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
true.
No, you're right.
Because you
don't
didn't
ask.
ask for these
I
things.
didn't ask for
You
that.
just wanted to be a fireman.
Yeah, I just wanted to be
Yeah,
a fireman.
yeah.
That's it. And now all of a sudden it's like, hey, dude.
Now all of a sudden your shirt off with your abs on the-
No,
But
it's
yeah,
not-
but
it's
yeah,
on
it
my
comes with all
shoulders.
these real
Yeah, no, it comes with
responsibilities.
these
All right.
rules.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
We're like, hey, like as soon as I got on the job as a firefighter for city, the first thing
Sorry,
the first thing they say to me was like, hey, you want to go to these monk school and start telling these monk kids how to be firefighters? I'm like, bro, I didn't sign up for that. I just trying to be a
Yeah,
fireman.
yeah.
You know, like my role was just to be a fireman, not to do all this stuff additionally. Now,
Exactly.
I did it because it's still the right thing to do in my heart to like share spread the knowledge. But I didn't ask to be that. I just wanted to be a
Yeah.
fireman because that's what
Yeah.
I wanted to do.
Yeah. And
You
I
know?
think that's what I'm kind of asking you is like, you as a mental health professional,
Yeah.
do you feel some kind of obligation to address some of these things that are really kind of, that hit home with so many Hmong people, so many people.
tough line.
Right? Because like you didn't sign up for it.
Right.
You didn't sign up for that. But you, who is talented in music, but also have this
Yeah,
great wealth
have a
of knowledge.
voice.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
for
feel
sure.
somewhat of an obligation to make a music to make music surrounding the mental health topic? Sorry, I don't mean to put you on
that's
the
cool.
spot.
No,
but
no,
Yeah,
hey,
'cause
man,
that
these
is
are
a
great, these are
hard
great
question.
questions.
That's a hard
Is it
question.
an obligation for me to tie what I do for my music? No, absolutely
Yeah.
not. You know what I'm saying? But will I speak about it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
for
So
sure.
it's not like I've just been like neglecting my community. Like no,
Yeah,
like
yeah, for sure.
I've worked with people in my community.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
How do you
sure.
how do you think I'm able to speak Hmong, right? How do
Yeah,
you think
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
able to still communicate with the older
Yeah.
Hmong folks,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's a lot of stuff that I just don't really talk about because I just don't feel like
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
But this
yeah.
is what I do, right? So it's kind of like, do I feel like there's an obligation? You know, as the more that you kind of just dive deeper into it, right? And the more that like you see like people approach you, and what hits the hardest is like the more that you recognize that kids are watching,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
young
Yep.
kids. So it's just kind
Yep.
of like, all right, you know what? Yeah, a part of me do feel like,
Yeah.
hey, you know
And that's
what?
what we go back to. It's so hard because
Yeah.
Yeah.
you want to do you, and then somebody tells you should help your community, and then you do want to help your community. It's not like you don't want to.
Right.
You do want to, but you want to also be yourself. So it's like, where do you draw the...
and that's where it comes from personal boundaries.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I'm not
true.
gonna be,
Personal boundaries.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I know myself enough to
Personal
be like, hey,
boundaries.
I'm no longer doing it just because I'm doing it for y'all. I'm
Yeah,
doing it for the Hmong people. I'm
yeah,
doing it for
yeah.
this. Like, no, fuck that. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
first and
yeah.
foremost, man,
I agree.
I gotta make sure I'm okay.
I agree,
Yeah.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like, how could you throw all those girls in your music
Respect.
video
I agree.
when there's
Respect.
kids watching? I'm like, what the
Respect.
fuck, man?
Yeah,
Well,
you
don't
just-
tell your kids to watch then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Parenting is
Right.
personal, man.
So it's kind of like, hey, well, like, what's going on here? What's really
Yeah.
going on,
Yeah,
right?
you
I'm
don't
not out
control
here
everything.
hurting nobody. I'm just out here really like
Doing your thing.
displaying myself
Yeah.
and saying that hey, I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
But as far as like an obligation to speak out on things, like sure, like when I can, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless there's
And
an
if it was
important platform
true,
for me to do
yeah,
it
and if
on.
it was truly what you wanted to do too, I'm like, if that was truly what I wanted to do, like, of course I want the best for my community. But if really what I want to do was to like speak for my community, then I'd go be a politician. But I'm not a
Right,
politician,
exactly,
dude.
right.
That's not what I'm trying to be.
And that I'm gonna flip that around too. That's why, like, a lot of times, man, our community just needs to kind of like chill out
Yeah,
on artists' opinions. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
"Hey, what do you think about
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Why aren't you speaking
Yeah,
about this?
exactly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kinda like,
I'm just an
exactly.
artist.
Right, like,
You're just
that's
another
great.
human
right?
being.
And then they're gonna
Yeah.
be like, well, you're not just an artist. You have a voice. You
Yeah.
should be speaking
Yeah.
upon this. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, hey,
You should be
That-
if you want to.
right?
Yeah.
It's
No,
kind of like,
If you want to, you don't
it's
have
hard.
to.
It's hard.
That's-
It's a
that-
thin line. It's a thin line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
It's
great
true.
because we had this discussion earlier in the week where we were like, there's things going on in the community.
Yeah, should
People
we
have
speak-
asked us
should
to
we speak
address
about
it.
Yeah.
Is that what we want to turn this podcast into? Is
Right.
that our
Yeah.
branding? Do we want to be a brand like where we're talking about gossip,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
talking about social justice?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
or do we just want to create an environment where we can have guests come on,
And have
we
fun,
can have
yeah.
fun,
Just
like,
talk.
and so you're right. Like as an artist, or I guess weird
Yeah.
to say,
Like a
it,
public
as-
figure,
yeah,
sort of, right?
yeah.
Because like you have
Like-
you have a platform.
Yeah.
You have people watching.
Yeah.
So now there could be some
Huge.
ridiculous expectations. of
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because yeah,
It's a
we've
fine line.
we've had an extended conversation about that where we're like, oh, do we address
That's
this?
real.
How do we address this if people ask
Yeah.
us about this?
Yeah.
Like because yeah, we
Well,
don't
of
want
course
we
we-
don't want to be a gossip
Yeah, yeah. And
Right.
podcast.
And like
we don't want to make our guests feel uncomfortable.
Some
We don't
Hmong
want
TMZ type shit.
yeah, we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
we don't want to bring
exactly.
people
Well,
on and
TMZ.
be like, gotcha. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's not
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not what we're trying to do here. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think when you start to address these things, I think you start walking down a road.
Yeah.
You start.
and everybody's
yeah.
got their own opinions, right? And it doesn't
That's
need to
what
be
it is.
it doesn't need to be spoken publicly for people all the
Yeah,
time. Like
yeah.
we have our own opinions
Yeah.
that we talk about behind the camera
Exactly.
and stuff like that.
And even if it is spoken
Everybody's
publicly,
got that.
take
Yeah.
it with a grain of salt, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're your own person.
Well,
you take
exact-
take what we say here, and take it with a grain of salt. We're just three idiots.
yeah,
you know,
yeah, we're just
on a
talking.
mic.
It's a like I said, we're walking a thin line. So that's why when I say obligation, it's kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
look, man.
That's
Yeah.
a hard
I'm
question,
sti-
though.
I'm
Beautiful, man.
I'm
Beautifully
st- I'm
said. I love
still-
that answer.
I'm still gonna be doing my
Yeah.
thing over here. I'm still gonna be me. It's not like, yo, I'm thinking about the children, so I'm not
Yeah.
drinking in my music video or anything like that, right?
Yeah,
But it's kind of
yeah.
like, but when I do see the children, I'm gonna be like, hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Yeah, yeah.
Follow your dreams.
that.
Do what you
No,
want. You know
but
what I'm saying?
what you asked is a very hard question.
Yeah.
It's a very hard question.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I feel the same way. I'm just doing me. But of course, if I can help my community, of course I want to do that. But
Yep.
to what cost? To what cost in our own energy
you,
and our
yeah,
own
yeah.
mental
Right.
health, right?
Yeah.
Because if you give all your mental health to somebody else and then you're just a piece of shit at home.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
everybody around you hates you because you're toxic as hell.
Yeah.
Because you spent all your social energy on
Mm-hmm.
helping the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
Then-
whatever, the community.
Yeah, then like
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not helping yourself
Huge,
either.
huge.
So
Exactly.
there is no
Yeah.
right answer.
Yeah,
That's
and you
the
said
truth.
a key
Right.
word
There's no
there,
right
boundaries.
answer.
Yeah, but boundaries for
Boundaries,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
boundaries,
Boundary,
man.
then that's
Yeah.
something that I always try to. advocate for, right? Personal
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you can't even show up 100% for yourself, don't expect you to be okay
Exactly.
with the next
Wow.
relationship that you're in, whether
Yep.
professionally, personally,
That's what's up.
intimately.
Yo.
Like,
Yeah.
man,
I like-
you got to know yourself.
I know this conversation
Yeah.
went from like
Dude.
really goofy at the beginning,
No.
just kind of football everything, and then
Yeah.
this is where it ended up.
No,